Tom, we can investigate on this.
No, I think this is Tom's first time to see it.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's your first chance to see it.
Just on the,
It's my first time to see it today, too. So you know, after we can table it, we look at it for a week. If that's what y'all make the motion, we'll do it.
Well, I'll make one time table it for next week.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor? Roll call.
will it get motion again, please?
Clark and Clary made the motion, Marvin seconded it. To table item number 10 on next week.
Okay, Paul Story,
Yes.
Clark and Clary,
Yes.
Marvin Owen,
Yes. Clark, on item number 11, I'm assuming that's yours and Marvin's, or that just yours?
That's a served job in my district of resurfacing and widening a road, and it's just for payments for additional right of way that had to be
Right. Would
obtained.
you bring the,
Yeah.
you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is just. All right. You'd like a motion, we need a motion for item number 11 for Clark, for District 1 to pay this parcel for right of ways.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
No, but
Roll call.
Paul Story,
Yes.
Clark and Clary,
yes.
Marvin Owen,
Yes. Okay, now open discussion with jail committee. I did, I seconded item number 11. Yes, sir, go ahead.
The 8 cents jail tax in 2015 contributed $111,688. And if you project, take the first 8 months of this year and project it out for 12 months, that's going to bring it up $5,000 a year to $116,660. Just so everybody knows that there's an increase coming to $5,000 in that 8 cent sales tax, which will be twice that much, or 3 times that much in the other ones. So there's going to be $15,000 more generated for the payment. We asked a question if there had ever, since Frank, you stepped out, right? About, in the last meeting, there was answered, there's never been a budget done for the annual operations. And we're asking these people to give us more money in a condition whether it'll fly or it won't fly. But we still don't have a operating budget that was compiled before the jail was built, since the jail was built, or its current state. There's no, there's a section in your cost and in your estimates for need and financial, but none of it's all blank. So, if you're ever going to have a budget to make it operate, you're going to have to compile a budget. And that's never been put together. Same way with the amortization and payments. If we know how much these payments are going to be early on, we probably wouldn't have had this jail to worry with. We're basically going out for, or you're going out for a half-cent sales tax, and that's what the original construction of the jail was half cent. And I don't know how you can do that, and you don't even have an annual operating budget for the jail. Every department in this county has got an operating budget. Do you have a budget?
Well,
You have to stay with that budget.
What did I get?
So, you see what I'm saying is there's no operating budget for
Right,
the
but
jail.
I understand what you're saying, but most, that tax is just going for payment.
Well, I know, Paul, but what I'm saying is there's still no budget. You just can't shovel full of money into something and expect it to be spent right. It has to be accounted for, it has to be planned, and it has to be dispersed. And it can't just be thrown out there and saying, well, yeah, you got plenty of money now, because you're never gonna know when you're running out of money or inflation beating it up or anything else. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand what you're saying, and I wouldn't argue that with you. And I'm not saying this is big right or wrong, because I agree with what you're saying, Randy, and we do need that. But it's,
I mean, the facility's 8 years old, it's been in conception for 10 years. There's never a budget done before, and that's part of the problem, is there's no budget, so nobody knew how much it was gonna cost to maintain it. Had we known what it was gonna cost to maintain a 110-bed jail, we probably would not have built one, you see what I'm
I
saying?
agree with that.
Here we are, 8 years later, we're going to do about the same thing again, we still don't know. And that's something that you guys need to do, and do it soon, because everybody needs to have accountability. And
Well,
if you don't have any amount, how do you run a business or a facility, county, state, government, I don't care what it is, or an individual business, but you don't have a budget, you know what your costs are per month, you know what they're gonna be, you know what they should be, and then you can find out if they're out of line or not. You've got one. You run your household off the budget.
Roger Ballard.
Might be a lot smaller deal, but what I'm saying is still there. And everybody regulates their money by a budget. Not freeze grab, you are.
I
Because I
agree with
was calling,
that
I
too,
had
Randy.
called most of it.
And I agree with everything you're saying, Randy. I wouldn't, I mean, there's no argument there, but I just, I'll get to a point when you get through, go ahead.
What the
But Roger Ballard and I have run the numbers on the 0.5% sales tax. We was in Gail's office. And I appreciate the comments Sandra made, because I did hand that piece of paper, and I agree with you, Sandra. When we say something, we need to hand it over in writing, factual. So Roger and I will go back over it. We'll have it on paper with the facts and show you. And the way Roger and I figured it, we're just barely gonna make it with this 0.5%, but we will make it. But I will have that for you in writing next week. And I should add it this week, but I don't, when we went over, we did go spend an hour or two going over that, and I'll have it for you next week.
Question, Paul?
Yes, sir, go
You're
ahead.
talking about having it, you'll have projections for the old tax and the new tax in terms of revenue and projections for expenses for both debt service and maintenance and operation of the jail, and that these are restricted funds, and just like we talked about every penny that's collected for the fire department, you know where it's gonna be spent. I think we, being asked to approve an additional 0.5%, need to know where these funds will be going and how they will be budgeted. What will be included in that maintenance and operation budget for the jail going forward, and that we've never seen one. I think we need clarity on that. For example, the ballot says maintenance and operations, says nothing about capital expenditures. I know that's a little bit picky, but I assume if we lose another ice machine, we'll replace it. That's kind of the things we'd like to see in the budget. What will be included in that? Are salaries included for that? Or the deputies' salaries pro rata depending on how much time they spend with inmates versus doing other things for the county in terms of sheriff duties and the like. So I think we need a 1, 3, 5-year budget, both for income and expenses. And the other bigger issue to me, Paul, is that at the end of this term, when the tax expires, we have no provision to pay for the ongoing operation of the jail. Does that mean we go back?
Well, I talked about that with Farley, our DA.
Yeah.
Under his advice, we didn't do that,
Uh-huh.
because if the jail is paid off, on time, that's 2031. He felt like, and I felt like too, that we didn't know what situation Madison County would be in 2031, and the commissioners at that time could make that decision.
Would have to be
And
made
that was
several years earlier, but the point that Randy brought up in previous meetings, we haven't talked about the impacts of inflation. You know, we dedicated 25% of the existing half cent and 25% of the new tax towards maintenance and operation. Over the term of that note, inflation itself will reach a point where we'll basically be in the red. So-
But now, say, I appreciate that comment, and Roger and I went over that, and I'm gonna do my best to have that in writing for you next week. And the way we figured it will take care of the debt until it is paid for.
I agree with you on the debt because there's no inflation factor on the debt. We know what the payments will be going forward. But for maintenance and operation on the jail gets older every day, which means it gets more expensive to maintain and upkeep. We know utilities are gonna go up, we know insurance are gonna go up, we know salaries and benefits are gonna go up.
Well,
So over time, you're not gonna have enough money based on this revenue stream to pay for the maintenance and operation of the jail. That's our question. Show us a budget for the first year, and let's look at it in future years so that this takes care of the issue. We don't wanna be going back to the people in short order saying we need additional money.
well, that's what I said, I'm gonna have it for you. I'm gonna attempt to have it for you. I can't speak for Roger, so I'm not gonna speak for Roger.
Thank you.
But I thank you.
Who is actually responsible for the day-to-day operations of the jail and seeing if that building needs some repairs or making that budget we're talking about?
Well, I refer to the budget, and I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong, but since I've been here, the way it's been done, you know, every office is budgeted. And I know everybody in this room will agree with this. If you budget a government office, if you say, okay, here's enough for salary, and here's enough for whatever, when the fiscal year comes up, that money for whatever is gonna be gone. So we never put that in there. So if anybody wants anything extra, you know, it's brought before the commissioners, and then we decide there. So, but y'all talking about a budget, so to speak, for the jail. Well, yeah, if you just throw if you had the money and you throw a large sum of money out there, it's gonna be gone. I mean, but like,
No,
just like the ice maker, so to speak. For an ice maker to be bought, it had to come before us, and we made that decision. If there was a budget, they would have just went and bought an ice maker, and we'd have never known it because it was bought.
I was a facilities manager for the Corps of Engineers for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't, but I didn't budget employee salaries or things like that. But the facilities maintenance, the paint, the air conditioner replacement, the floors, the road sealing, all that sort of stuff, I was given, not given, well, yeah, I guess I was given a figure of money that we had for that year. And I had to place that into those operating sections. And if we came in under budget, I might could do something else. If we came in over budget, I had to ask the lake manager to see if we could find that money somewhere else, or we didn't do that particular item so my question is, do you have somebody that does a budget like that for the jail or the courthouse?
Well, we have our CPA, Gary Patton, and I'm glad you brought that up, because Rob, you was talking about making cuts in the budget. Well, I gave you that piece of paper, what the state mandates us to do, and here's our budget. So, I mean, if somebody can find something in that budget where we can cut any more besides 2 employees, I mean, I would appreciate the advice and the help.
Well, I understand
But
that.
there it is.
The
There's no
CPA doesn't know. Is there zero money for
There's not any money.
Max, to
person to manage those buildings?
Rock.
answer your question,
Rob,
there is no
you-
budget.
could you take that back,
No
bring that
maintenance
back
budget.
in a week or two?
I can,
So
I
we're-
Make you a copy, just keep, we'll make a copy of something.
No,
Totally spent
Will
out.
we make him a copy?
Wait a minute, Karen, he's got one coming.
Is that what,
Yeah.
okay, 'cause I.
Yeah, but anyway.
Original,
So we're totally spent with salaries and basically,
Well, there was some extra money in the budget, but we knew as commissioners that it was gonna take another $150,000 to make payroll at the jail. So, you know, out of our M&O money, or general fund, whatever you wanna call it, you know, we knew when that, then in the when his budgeted money run out, we already knew that we was gonna spend another $150,000. And like Roger said, when you get down to $250,000 in your general fund money, you're broke.
I understand that, but at sometime at the beginning of the year, somebody should know what the salaries are gonna be.
Oh, we know
Somebody
that.
should, and if there's anything that a department needs, do they not make a
Well, most of these.
budget request?
No,
Estimate.
they have an estimate of needs, but most offices have cash accounts. And if they need something, they spend it through their cash accounts.
Okay, who's looking at those? I
Well,
understand
to-
everybody is an elected official.
Mhm.
You guys are elected, she's elected, and I understand the equality there, but now, does the sheriff not have some kind of a budget for jail operation?
No.
Okay, is he not required to?
Well, every department should really have an operating budget. They set a budget for them to spend through the year. They set one for the jail. But as far as what is detailed out, how that money is gonna be spent, Max, there is no budget.
Well, that's what I'm saying, there probably should.
I agree, 100%.
If I may, I'll let you
Go
go to
ahead.
the other question. The jail, as best I can tell, is the most valuable, most expensive asset the county has.
I'd say most expensive.
It's over $7 million, we're gonna have 12 million in it by the time it's paid for. It will take 40% of all sales tax revenue to pay the debt and operate the jail going forward at a minimum. I think that's why we need a line item budget to talk about operation and maintenance on the jail, because it by far is the largest expense that this county incurs. And that's why I feel like we need a specific budget that talks about income and outlays for the jail, to your point.
And you know, I don't disagree with anything, and I appreciate these thoughts and ideas. And like I say, we're gonna set a budget, and I know a couple of these guys up there said they would be here when Kerry's here. And I encourage everybody to be here when we set the budget. Because I'd like for you to talk to Kerry Patton, which he's a CPA, and he has numerous years of experience dealing with county budgets. And like I say, and then you can talk to Kerry, and because I've talked to him for 8-9 straight years, and you can get it from him.
Well, I understand you get to that point.
There's a
I'm
difference.
talking about after that.
So, sorry, I mean,
After
Max is
after he
talking about an
gives,
operational budget.
after he gives whoever's in charge of that building X number of dollars for maintenance operation, then they need to take that and detail what they
Right.
want to do with it.
and like I've asked Randy, you know, we have the law. I mean, I hope we get a trust authority set up for this jail, and then the trust authority, I hope I'm right on this, can work with the jail on that and see where the money's spent. 'Cause we need a trust authority over the jail, in my opinion.
I understand
And
because
we're working on getting one, and then we can work, I think, more efficiently on some of these issues you're talking about.
we are, after all, talking about all elected officials. And I understand that you as an elected official probably can't tell this other elected official really what to do, even though you'd like
Correct.
for that to be that way. And I'm not familiar with enough, I guess, with county law or state law that makes that a requirement of that person. But I'm talking about after the budget's set and he's giving us a pot of money, and then he needs to have, or she needs to have, or whoever's in charge of that, kind of a line item, you know, we need this, and it's gonna cost this much, and this much, and this much.
Right, I agree with you, and like I say, I don't wanna beat a dead horse to death, and I hope I'm proven wrong. But when Kerry comes and does the budget, I hope we have this kind of attendance, so everybody can get it from him. But I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying, I appreciate that, but
I thought
I
the
thought
excise
that-
board, Paul, I
they,
thought the excise board set that money.
they set the budget with Kerry Patton. He pretty much tells you if it'll fly or not.
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
how many deputies or whatever you want, the people at the jail, how many do you need in there legally
You talking
to
about,
run the
are
jail?
you talking about
21?
sheriff
21?
or jail?
Well, I'm talking about the jail. I want to hear about
21.
the sheriff. Yeah, okay. And now I guess what's just killing me is I don't understand how you guys can go out for a half cent sales tax